What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Gooner, a channel 100% dedicated to Arsenal Football Club, who, as we all know, are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. And I want to get cracking straight away and talk about yesterday's fantastic performance at home to Crystal Palace. Justice for Viera. Now, I'm going to be honest and say, and I think those of you who watched my video before yesterday's match will know that I wasn't fully confident. I had my doubts. Would we experience a no-manager bounce? Could it possibly be true that Patrick Viera was the reason that Crystal Palace had been stuttering? Would they come to Emirates reinvigorated? Would the 120 minutes of football against Sporting Lisbon tire out the legs of our players? Would there be anxiety amongst the crowd? Would there be worries? This, after all, being the first of 11 cup finals we have to face. My nerves are going to be jangling by the end of it. In the end, nothing to worry about. And I think there was a really beautiful moment on Match of the Day for those of you who watched it, where Bukayo Saka was talking about this and just immediately said, "We fear nobody." And yesterday, that's exactly what it felt like, watching Arsenal play. Unlike the Everton game, where they, if we're honest, looked more likely to score, we never really looked in any trouble at all. And Martinelli, well, what can you say? Just 3 nights before, he's missing the penalty that dumps us out of the European competition. On 28 minutes, he scores with his left foot, something that he's added to his game this season, and we're off and running. And from that point, all the way through to a little bit of a scare, perhaps, when it was 3-1, honestly, I was never unsettled at all. The second goal going in absolutely settled my nerves, and there were loads of great moments. I'm sure I could spend hours talking about that game particularly. But I just want a couple of things that I want to talk about. First of all, I think a few people, well, probably more than a few people, owe Rob Holding something of an apology. Saliba's out, God knows how long. How are we possibly going to deal with Saliba gone? This, from mostly the same people, have been saying, Saliba hasn't been playing that well since Christmas. Look, Saliba's a fantastic player. The partnership between him and Gabriel has been outstanding at the back. Rob Holding is exactly the type of player that Premier League winning squads have. He's a no ego, plays for the team, plays for the badge, popular with his fellow professionals, footballer that comes out and gives his best. Some people owe him an apology. Not least whoever gave him that bloody Alice band, though. I mean, I've never enjoyed seeing Alice bands on footballers. Gareth Bale for me, but Rob Holding, I'm not going to do the jokes about the greatest comeback in footballing history, but his hairline is quite luscious and almost, I think, in danger of costing us some headed goals. So, I personally, there isn't an Arsenal player at the moment I don't love the bones of. So, I have not had a bad word to say about Rob Holding. I was on the edge of my seat when he was playing the FA Cup game at City, and I thought him up against Haaland was could have been a disaster, and he acquitted himself well. He did that again yesterday. Across the field, we had great performances. Fantastic goal from Xhaka. Kind of looks like the goal he didn't score against Sporting this time. He just took his chance brilliantly. Fantastic to see Kieran Tierney come on near the end and get some minutes. It's a bit baffling that he hasn't had minutes, and it's hard to see that he's definitely going to get them going forward. But he certainly didn't play like a player who's whinging or complaining, and it was great to see the team celebrating with him when he laid on the fourth goal with a typically Tierney type performance. For me, it's perhaps controversial and perhaps not. I thought Ben White was the man of the match, and it is baffling to me that with his connection with Saka, who is a shoo-in to the England squad, how has Gareth Southgate left Ben White behind? Makes no sense, but I am thrilled about it because I think, it's hard to see him getting injured on the tanning bed, and that's where I expect he's going to spend the next couple of weeks. In the interlull, the boring and tedious 2-week period where there's no real football. Apologies to people who take international football really seriously. I do for tournaments. I didn't even know who we were playing until yesterday. So I probably will watch England play, but it's, for us, it's really a time where we could absolutely do without this gap. We are in fine form. The other great thing about the game, of course, Gabby Jesus. However much I love Trossard, however well Nketiah covered for him up front, Gabby Jesus really does give us something. And I know Ten Hag has been getting has been drawing a lot of attention for the comments he made about how lucky Arsenal seem to be in not losing any players. You're going to have to do a little bit better than that to trigger me, I'm afraid. That's obviously horseshit, isn't it? I mean, if losing Thomas Partey, if, Takahiro Tomiyasu's injury is as bad as it sounds, then it's likely he's going to miss not only this season, but even possibly start of next season. So my heartfelt get well soon to Takahiro Tomiyasu. I hope the injury isn't as bad as people are predicting now. Saliba's injury, slightly less concerning. Look, I may get in trouble here, but does anybody else think there might be a slim chance that he's not really that injured? They just didn't want him to go away with the France team. Would Saliba play along with that? I don't know. Certainly, Rashford has pulled out of the England squad with injury, as has Mason Mount. Although it's less clear to me why they would need to be ready and fit. I've done a video predicting each match in the run-in. There are, as we all know now, 10 games to go for us, 10 cup finals. The next one is a home game against Leeds. This Premier League is not going to be won easily. There will be many twists and turns. I've tried to predict them. Please do give that a watch. It will be uploaded tomorrow. And I will still be producing a video every day, even though there's not as much to talk about. So I'm going to be focusing on some great players of the past and some reasons why Arsenal Football Club are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen. Those of you who've been DMing me to ask me why I think Arsenal Football Club are by far the greatest team the world has ever seen, stop it. I don't have the time, the patience, or the inclination to explain it to people who don't get it. If you know, then you know, and if you don't know, jog on. I will still be producing videos over the interlull. There are some videos coming out about the greatest player ever to wear the number 7, which is kind of me hoping that Bukayo Saka is about to sign a contract. Certainly the things he was saying yesterday on Match of the Day were hugely encouraging when he said that only somebody who'd put on the shirt and played in front of this crowd could know how important and how special it is. And once more, before I go, I just want to say to all of those of you who were at the Emirates yesterday, all of you who have played your part, all of you who have cheered on this team this season, you are absolutely a part of the reason we are doing as well as we are. Supporters are there to support, and I think no atmosphere is better in the Premier League right now than the Emirates, and long may it continue. Win, lose or draw, we will cheer ourselves hoarse. Forever, Arsenal. Lots of love.